The event is starting. Wish it would tell me when it starts. It's like, it is starting. Oh, yeah, there we go. Wow, I look like shit, and so do you.
Oh, dude, I should look like shit.
On that, I'm just going to roll the intro.
Welcome to TikTok, where Jerry is mega high on drugs because his back hurts, and the show might be funnier for it. Who knows?
Maybe.
Maybe. That's a big maybe, dude.
It's a possibility. Hey, what's up, guys? JayzTwoCents here. And, I feel like it's been forever since we've done this. Shut up, phone.
It does feel like it's been forever.
Well, it's been 3 weeks since our last one, and then we were like 3 weeks before that. So this is like our second show in 6 weeks. That's terrible.
That's forever, dude. In internet years, that's forevers.
It is. Well, guys, we're back. First show of 2015. And I'm going to tell you right now, if I look tired, it's because I am. If Jerry looks drugged up, it's because he is. What's funny is it's funny that you tweeted out drunk tech talk yesterday because I actually watched the whole thing twice.
Isn't it funny? That was like, honestly, that was just brilliant, man. That was like the best.
What's funny is we were so concerned. We're like, oh my God, so many people were seeing us drunk. And at one point we mentioned the viewers were like, there's 280 people in here. We were like freaking out that we were going to have like a mass exodus. But it's really weird to hear how the numbers were at the time. Like you had 77K and I had 55K, right? It's like, whoa, what a difference 10 months has made.
Oh, and you could totally tell like back then we were both a lot more, I want to say relaxed. Like I'm sure the alcohol had a lot to do with that, but we were definitely more relaxed. Like this is a hobby, this isn't a job, And it's like both you and I have tried to step it up professionally a little bit over the last year, and it definitely has shown. But it is fun to go back and watch those videos and be like, wow, we were really like, we were crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely made a professional jump, but I'm okay with that, though. I'm okay with the professionalism. I'd like to get back to a little bit more of the comedy-based stuff. So I do have a skit I'm actually working on. Because I used to do like some little comedy things. It was like not even really tech related. It was just like a skit, right? So I'm gonna do some more of that coming up soon. But I just want to say, CES kicked my ass again. I didn't get sick, fortunately.
I'm shocked.
But I did get extreme. Dude, I was taking 1,000 milligrams vitamin C for 6 weeks prior to the event. I was like, hell.
You were smart, dude. I was seeing all kinds of tweets from people dropping like flies at CES.
Well, it becomes like ground zero. Like if there was ever going to be some sort of a major like epidemic breakout of some sort, it's happening at CES because everyone from all over the world comes there. And it's just it's crazy. But yeah, my problem is I stopped taking the vitamin C after the event, so now I'm feeling like, oh God, I'm incubating something. Actually, sounds
you're probably having like vitamin C withdrawal. You probably became like chemically dependent on it because you're taking so much of it.
Chemically dependent on vitamin C.
You're like itching your skin and stuff and like licking oranges.
Oh guys, I gotta pop the C, bro. Anyway, guys, why don't we go ahead and tweet this out? Let's go ahead and tweet out that Tech Talk is live because we're back.
I just sent it out on the Twitter sphere and on the Facebookian sphere.
Yeah, and don't forget, guys, we also have hashtag Tech Talk Weekly for the Twitter where we're doing announcements. So many people were asking me, I don't know about you, like, hey, when's the next Tech Talk? Blah, blah, blah. If you guys just go to that Twitter hashtag or handle, you find all the info you need there. I just kind of want to make a quick note that don't expect any new videos from me until like at least Monday because I'm taking some time off. Damn it. My eyes are wrecked. My back is wrecked. I just have not recovered from CES yet, so...
Dude, every time I see you go to CES, it makes me not want to go. like, you leave all like happy and full of life, and then you come back and you're like one step away from death's door. Like at least you're not sick this time, so bravo for that. Celtic Fox says, "Poor Jerry looks so tired, like he hadn't slept in weeks." All right, well, let me explain. Actually, I did just wake up literally 15 minutes ago. I just got out of the shower and came upstairs. I hurt my back rather severely. I don't know exactly to do it, but the big muscle on the left side of my back, running the full length of my back.
It's called your penis.
My penis muscle, apparently. It's heavily like bruised or something. I don't know. I think it was cleaning the gutters. I screwed it up, but it hurts so bad that like if I put if I even lean forward or go to lean back to like lay down or lean to my side, the whole muscle just seizes up into a ball and starts twitching. And it feels like I'm getting hit with a taser. So I had to take Percocet, which is a pretty strong painkiller.
Percocet's a narcotic.
Oh, it is. It
Yeah.
is like
I
it's
have a
hard.
friend. I have a friend that has to take Percocet from a military injury on his back, and every
Yeah,
time
it's
he
like
takes it, it's like
class 2 or something.
he
It's
has
like
to
a
like make sure he doesn't have to do anything important for like the next 8 hours after he takes one.
yeah. No, it's trust me, it knocks your dick in the dirt, so to speak. That's why I'm looking really tired. But the other thing is I have to take a muscle relaxer too to calm this down, and that's called Flexerol.
I love
And you
Flexerol.
mix those two together, and oh my god, it is like try to stay awake. Like right now, I am fighting consciousness. I'm fairly certain this is a dream.
Yeah,
So
this
it's
is not
like
really happening.
this is not. Is this real life?
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Real quick. I'm drinking tea, guys. This is tea, not alcohol. That's tomorrow.
That's
Reason why we
tomorrow.
brought up drunk tech talk is tomorrow we're doing a drunk hangout on Twitter tomorrow, or Twitter on Twitter too, probably. It always ends up there. Twitch TV / Jay's VFX. I'll actually put it down in the description. I think I might have already done that actually. Maybe not.
That's
But
going to be a lot of fun.
a lot of people think you're not wearing any sort of headphones. Can you just kind of quick show them what you're wearing?
Yeah, here, if you guys can see in there, I got the little Shure in-ear monitor guys. They're actually pretty damn phenomenal. I did a review on them. If you guys go watch the review, and there's a giveaway going on right now that I think, yep, you can still get into it if you go watch the video.
Was that a Massdrop thing?
Yeah,
cool.
It was Massdrop. Dude,
Yeah.
I love Massdrop. Massdrop's been like so good to me, so good to the channel, so good to
And
their
I
users.
just want to put this out there because some people are like copying Jerry on the Massdrop. Jerry referred me to Massdrop, guys. He's that dedicated to Massdrop. I think they're awesome because you can say you hate the product, they don't care because all they're doing is brokering the group rate.
I know, that's what I love. That's one of the things I love the most about Massdrop is it's like these aren't our products.
Yeah, they're like, okay,
They're
we
just
won't carry,
just,
we won't
we
carry
just
those.
peddle them. They're just they don't make the drugs, they just deal them, folks. It's like,
Pretty much.
but no, I've really liked my relationship with them because I work with a lot of companies.
Yeah.
So do you, and you get different levels of relationships, and the relationship that I've had with Massdrop has been like the most informal, friendly relationship ever.
Right.
And if you go look at like the feedback on the company, it's like they have like very, very positive feedback. People love the service that they offer.
They're the only reason I'm wearing even somewhat audiophile grade headphones this very moment because of the fact they sent these to me for Christmas. I think they sent you one too, right?
Yeah, they did. The AKGs. I still got to get those out of the box.
AKG KX 7 or the K7
7XXs. Yeah, no, I got those sitting in a box right behind me.
Yeah, you see how good they are. They're still in the box, guys. No,
No, but I thought that was cool. They just sent us those, and they're like, you don't even have to review them. They're
Well,
like,
they didn't tell
have
me-
a Christmas present. They were
they
nice.
didn't tell me it was coming. They basically were like, "Merry Christmas, you'll be getting some in the mail." I'm like, "Really?" And then these showed up. I'm like, "Holy cow!" Because I've never owned like mid-range or high-end headphones of any sort. These aren't high-end by any means, but they still sound phenomenal compared
They're
to
comfy
anything.
though, aren't they? The AKGs.
You know what's funny is I'm not normally a fan of like the fabric ear cups, but these are comfortable. Normally they make me itch, but these don't make me itch, and they're not hot because they're open back.
The thing I like the most about the AKGs, because I bought my first pair actually from Massdrop. That's how I started my relationship with Massdrop. Is I actually found their site and started using them. And I bought the 612 Pros, the K612 Pros,
Right.
by AKG. And I put them on at first, and I was like, and I did a full review of them on, back in the day. And I was like, these are really, really solid headphones. And slowly but surely, the more I used them, I found that I was using them more than my HD800s and my HE500s. Not because they sounded better, like they have a really good sound, but goddamn, are they comfortable?
Yeah.
I could wear them an entire day, and I'd find myself reaching over to turn the volume down, thinking that I was listening to the speakers because they're just a very light and airy fit on your head.
Sorry, I'm reading an article. The CIA has cleared the CIA of any wrongdoing and blah blah.
Oh man, those CIA guys, they're
they're
judge,
so
jury, and execution.
they're so impartial they can judge themselves. It had to do with the
That's
Senate
awesome.
hacking. Apparently, CIA was the CIA was hacking the Senate to get intel on its own government, and the CIA has cleared the CIA of any wrongdoing.
That's awesome.
No, guys, it wasn't us. Case closed.
I know,
Love
it's like
that.
the president impeaching himself.
I know, right?
Okay.
So, last little thing I want to mention about CES. There are a lot of reviews that came out of that, a lot of meetings and stuff. One of the things I'm excited to do, I do have the Razer Chroma RGB keyboard coming. I'm interested to see how I like this keyboard versus the last keyboard I used, the Black Widow Ultimate in 2012.
Yep.
Because it's an RGB, apparently a lot simpler software to use than Corsair's, and it's their own mechanical switch. It's just probably just another rebranded, German switch of some sort. But
we got fooled by that one. What was the switch that was in the Roseville?
Topre
that thing totally fooled us, man. It felt exactly
it did
like a Terry MX switch. Like,
and I'm wondering if that's what's going to be in the Razer keyboard. So I'll be reviewing that.
China,
I am
knock off China.
I am can't knock off China, man. I've got the Razer Turret coming, which is that foldable keyboard mouse combo thing for like home theater, which is perfect because NZXT just sent me the Doko, which
I've
just
never
launched.
even heard of that. What is it called again?
The Turret.
The Turret.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. If you go look at my CES video, you'll see it on there. The Doko I'm excited about. This is an in-home stream box. So basically, this hooks up to your network, and it will mirror anything from the software being sent to this anywhere on the network. So I can play all my Skunkworks games in the living room, which is really nice. So I'm not stuck to only, say, Steam in-home streaming. The Doko can do anything. It mirrors anything on your PC. And you can hook up to 4 USB devices to this. So...
Wait, and it mirrors the USB devices back to the PC, too?
Everything.
What?
Everything. In fact...
And this is Razer?
No, this is Doko. This is NZXT.
Oh, Doko. Okay.
NZXT.
Wow.
Okay, so this is what I had the meeting with NZXT about. This was under NDA. It was embargo. We couldn't talk about it. So everyone was like, Jay, what happened with your NZXT meeting? I couldn't talk about it because this is what we were demoing. In fact, my cameraman, me, one of the NZXT reps, we were playing over the Doko a Steam game. We all had like the Razer controllers, right? That look like Xbox controllers. And we were playing a fighting game over the network to a PC that was in another room in the suite. And it was completely lag-free. And what I like about it is, of course, there's in-home streaming, right? If you have a home theater home media center PC, you could do Steam in-home streaming, which is still very buggy.
Dude, that's badass. I would literally just throw away my media center PC if I had something.
Yeah, because this also, too, can connect to any hard drives that are connected to the network over that PC. So since my PC is connected to my MyCloud, any movies on the MyCloud can be streamed through Skunkworks to any room that the Doko is plugged into.
Dude, I have to have one of those.
And they're only they're $99, dude. So, yeah, I'll be doing a full review of the Doko. This was one of the most exciting things that came out of CES as far as I'm concerned.
Dude, if it works lag-free like your experience was at CES, like in your actual home, I will seriously buy like 2 of those and put one in the living room or the bedroom. Just throw the old Core 2 Duo media centers away.
Yeah, I was pretty excited about it. Now, the only thing that kind of is a downside about it is it's a 1080p at 30 frames per second. But what's happening here, and the reason why that is it's actually encoding to a video, right? It's taking what your computer's doing, it's encoding it to a video on the machine, and then this is decoding the video. So it's like watching a 30 FPS movie. Now you go to the movies, right? And you're watching 24 FPS in the movies. You're not going, ew, the frame rate of this movie is terrible, right? It's smooth because the frames are being rendered at a consistent rate. Well, 30 FPS rendered at a consistent rate is extremely smooth. So
I think for gaming, it would still bug the shit out of me, but for movies and stuff, it wouldn't faze me a bit.
I'm a 144 FPS snob. And
yeah, you are.
It didn't bother me when playing. And I'm not just saying that because I sent this for review. I'm legitimately saying the frame timing on it had nearly perfect intervals because it's a video stream that you're watching.
I think it'll be a home run though, because it's like I've thought about getting like what's the Miracast devices. But for the Miracast devices, you still have to have like the computer basically enabled. You still have to have a computer close by within Miracast range. You can't plug peripherals into it. It doesn't transfer the USB protocol back and forth, just the video. So I think the idea that somebody created some kind of a streaming device that incorporates the USB and extends it, that's huge.
Yeah, there's 4 USB ports on this that you can plug keyboards or joysticks or whatever into, and then those all go directly over the network, which is pretty cool. Awesome.
I'm also looking at this Razer Turret. I didn't even know this thing even existed. Is this like just brand new, unveiled at CES?
It was unveiled at CES. They got an award while they were there. Go to after the video or after the stream. Go to my channel. I did a demo of it and I talked about it, and you'll see it was pretty nice. I think it's the perfect keyboard mouse combo for, say, home theater and gaming. Like, of course, like Logitech has their wireless keyboard with the touchpad built in.
Yeah, the K400 is what I use. Yeah,
but the touchpads, they're not for gaming. So, and the mouse and the turret are magnetic, so the mouse doesn't slide off the keyboard unless you tilt it beyond a 45-degree angle. Yeah.
This is a must-have for me then.
Yeah, they are going to be sending me one for review, but we're looking at Q2. They're still under some development.
Oh, okay. They're still having some. But the thing is, the fact that it's magnetized, oh god, that is a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Razer's kind of stepping up their game a little bit.
Gaming Zelk says, Jay, you disgraced the master race. Well, Zelks, I think Skunkworks thinks you're a dickhole.
Everybody's been giving me shit lately about my whole going the Xeon direction on my build, and my response to everybody is I was like, well, Jay's kind of like Simpsons already did it, right? Jay owns the market on i7 high-end gaming, so water-cooled gaming systems. So I'm going to own the market on high-end air-cooled workstations.
Yeah, but look at it this way. I've never used personally on a workstation a dual CPU system like you're about to have, but I would assume if the software can utilize it, live streaming would be phenomenal because you could have a CPU dedicated to the stream and another CPU dedicated to the gaming.
Oh, and you can you can totally set the processor. Well, you can even do it on an i7, but on this you can set the physical processor affinity to Proc 1 or Proc 2 regardless of the core.
So you could have zero impact while gaming and live streaming at say 60 FPS 1080p.
Yeah. A lot of people are like, why go with so many cores? Well, here, I'll tell you why. Because I can actually run VMware Workstation and host like 5 virtual machines using half of the RAM in the system, 32 gigs of the ECC RAM dedicated, and I'll never know it. Like, those machines will all be cruising on their own processor and their own memory space, and I can sit there and still do Adobe Premiere and play games with all these things running, and it would save the space of me having a bunch of other computers.
Jessica MacArthur is LOLing at the people saying at 30 FPS is too slow. I really have to wonder when those people watch TV if they go, ew, this show is just terrible.
You know what though? I'm gonna until you prove it to me, Jay. I'm still gonna be on the 30 frames per second is for poor people bandwagon because 30 frames per second. Like I got fast eyes, Jay. They want more.
You watch TV, don't you?
Yeah, but I've got that stupid 120 hertz frame interpolation shit turned on.
Right, but all that is doing is upscaling. But when you play Forza, you know you're playing 30 FPS.
No, Forza's actually at 60.
Liar! It's upscaled to 60. It's pretend. Okay, here's a perfect example of people who want to bitch about the 30 versus 60.
You got one right here.
Okay, Linus uploaded a 60 FPS 1080p video because everyone's like, oh my god, you have the FS700, why are you not doing 60 FPS, blah, 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 blah. So he did it. He uploaded a 60 FPS video, and everyone was like, oh my god, Linus, it's so amazing. It looks so awesome. This is so... Do this from now on. Oh my god. Everyone was like totally all over Linus's balls for uploading 60 FPS until he commented like, GG, guys, this is a 30 FPS video that I rendered at 60 FPS. Ha ha ha. He just showed the placebo effect. All he did was render a 30 FPS video at 60. There's no extra frames in it. But because they saw 60 FPS in the description of the video on the little play bar, they like totally placeboed themselves.
Dishonest dog.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to grief him for that.
He exposed that on WAN show at CES, but he uploaded a 60 FPS video that was recorded at 30 just to point at all the people and point out how stupid they were for saying it looked amazing.
Well, I'm standing by. I still like better than 30 frames. I think 30 frames per second is for...
I will agree with you if we're talking about client gaming. Sorry about the squeaky chair. My DX Racer isn't here yet. Oh, sure. Stop squeaking now. Okay. Damn it.
Oh my god, did you see this, dude? Somebody just posted this link.
GPUs and Butterfingers.
Green GPUs and Butterfingers.
I hate Butterfingers. They get stuck in your teeth. Anyway. Okay, client-side gaming. I will agree that gaming on the machine at 30 FPS is crappy because there's fluctuations in FPS even if VSync was on. But which is why I couldn't do the 4K thing, right, when I went to 30 hertz. Yep. But video, which... something like the Doko, when it's a video that you're watching and it's perfectly smooth.
I totally get your argument. As long as it's a consistent 30 frames per second, then you're just gonna become used to it.
Right.
It's the fluctuations and micro stutter and stuff like that that really make frame rate rear its nasty little head. Or during super fast moving stuff. Like obviously if there's super fast moving stuff, 30 frames per second isn't really gonna present it properly. But no, I think for most common situations it'll be okay. I'm actually a little curious why they're limited to 30 frames per second though, because like most houses now are running like gigabit network bandwidth, which should be more than enough to run that kind of compression.
But this thing has to decompress it.
No, you make a good point there because and it needs to be a small, inexpensive device, and you'd have to have some high horsepower in it.
And with Broadwell launching at CES and being a lot more power efficient, about 20% faster than Haswell, maybe next year we'll see 60 FPS decoders like this. Rob Smith, I think his name was, asked if the 8320 has 8 threads. Yes, it has 8 threads. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited about this. I really am, because there's plenty of times I want to play just a hack and slash game or something like Tomb Raider or whatever from the living room and not sit here. As much as I love my office, I spend too much time in here. I don't want to be in here also when I'm gaming. Sometimes I want to go to the living room. So,
and I did try the streaming feature on the NVIDIA Shield, and I'll be honest, as long as I was sitting close to the access point, and this is purely just because my access point was shit at the time,
wireless
I got
sucks.
a better one. It actually worked really well. Like I was
Right.
playing Skyrim once over it, and it's very, very easy to forget that you're not playing it on the actual device because there's very, very little input lag. I'm not going to say there's no input lag, but it's like so little that it's similar to like a wireless controller on a console.
Right.
You know, it wasn't annoying amounts of lag. It was literally milliseconds of lag. And so the game was completely playable. And you're like, you get that whole perception of, you're like, wow, I got this little handheld gaming system that's playing, you know, a very, very high spec game. And so I see this device being that same kind of cure where it's like, you know, I've got my super beast upstairs rendering out, you know, Crisis 15, you know, and it's all being streamed to my TV on this little box that costs $99. I mean, that's totally worth it.
So there's a topic here I want to get your input on, see if you've been following, about the bottom falling out of Bitcoin right about the time you get into it.
Yeah, that's a sore subject, but I'll definitely talk about it. I'll
40% value drop so far in the first 15 days of this year.
Yeah, but most of it happened in like 24 hours. It was bad. So what happened was a shitty company named Butterfly Labs that produces mining hardware. They're an ASICs a company that produces a ton of ASIC systems. Well, they were stiffing their customers and screwing their customers over and taking their money, but not providing them with machines. So the Federal Trade Commission ordered them, because they are a U.S.-based company, ordered them to refund that money back to the people that did not receive their machines yet, which was like most of them. Right. So Butterfly Labs thought that it'd be fun to just dump 90,000 Bitcoin. Now you gotta remember, each Bitcoin's worth like $300. So I mean, the amount of revenue that transacted in that short period of time was like unprecedented in the Bitcoin world.
It's the same reason why you can't just print more money.
Exactly. Well, it destabilized the currency because they had so much money. Because you got to think, it's the company that makes the machines that mine the money. Yeah. I mean, not all of the machines, but the majority. So it was one of those things where it dealt a crippling blow to Bitcoin that day, and it caused a huge panic and a ripple effect, and people started dumping their Bitcoin. But it's been on a steady rebound. I mean, just from yesterday, I think it was down to 174, and now it's back up to 215 and still climbing.
Wasn't it for something when you started, though?
No. When I started, I think it was like at 340 or 350.
God, didn't it go all the way up to like 700 something at one point?
Oh, just in 2014, it was over 800.
Jeez.
When it started. So it is a highly volatile currency. But the thing is usually the fluctuations, I'm not going to say they can be predicted. It's a very unpredictable thing, because there's so many elements and aspects of, you know, is there a demand for the currency? Which countries are allowing it? And, you know, and the most important thing is who's accepting Bitcoin, right? So you started having people like Microsoft coming out and accepting Bitcoin.
Do you think the more people that accepted Bitcoin, the less valuable it became?
Oh, no. I think it was actually the opposite effect, because
you would think.
What stimulates the Bitcoin network is transactions. The more transactions that occur, the more revenue that's generated in the network, because there's these things called transaction fees that are collected that basically reimburse the people for using their power to break those codes and earn the Bitcoins that are generated on the network like every 10 minutes. It's a really complicated thing, but they designed the network to auto balance itself. Basically, the more transactions that are taking place, the higher the currency gets valued, and the more alluring it is for people to bring new hardware online and strengthen the network. And then the opposite's true. If the currency starts losing, people aren't using it, and there aren't as many transactions, then the difficulty of the network actually starts to lower, which again in turn lures more people onto the network to start using mining equipment and strengthen the network. So the network was the whole design of Bitcoin is around the network basically self-stabilizing itself. It basically gets harder when too many people are mining. It gets easier when not enough people are mining. The higher the value gets, the more people are going to mine, even at the higher difficulty, because it's still profitable.
Right.
So it's kind of cool how they designed it. That's the thing I like the most about the aspect of cryptocurrency, is that the currency itself is designed to basically stay stimulated and keep growing. But again, when you have companies like this that are like, that own that much coin on the network, and they're just like, boosh, dump it. I mean, obviously supply and demand took a huge tilt that day.
Right.
And it just completely crippled the currency. But the thing that really worried me was when I looked at it and I was like, holy crap, I honestly did not think that it would plummet that far in that short period of time.
Just from that much of an influx?
Just from that was scary. That completely caught me off guard.
It just goes to show that it's still extremely volatile.
Oh, it is, and it always will be. That's the thing about Bitcoin is you're talking about a digital currency that's not backed by any federal institution. It's not insured. If somebody comes and cracks your account, your wallet and steals all your Bitcoins, there's no police force that's going to go after them. I mean, obviously, if it happens in the United States, you can get the FBI to look into it. But obviously, it's not going to be like if a bank gets robbed, right? You're not going to have like what do they call it? The FDIC insurance kick in and be like, refund the bank for everything it lost. That just doesn't happen in the Bitcoin world. So it's definitely unstable. But the other thing is just like with penny stocks, instability can actually lead to a lot of profit if you're willing to take the risk. Like, for instance, think about this. Yesterday when the coin dropped to $174 a coin, if you went out and bought like $50,000 worth of Bitcoins that day, today you would have made a huge profit. Like, you would have profited more than any other investment that you probably could have done in 24 hours. But again, it could have kept plummeting and you could have lost your ass and lost all that money too. So, but as far as like a day tradable thing, I know quite a few people that day trade Bitcoins and just buy low and sell high every couple of days. And they actually do pretty good at it. I haven't done it yet because, it's one of those things where it's like you have to invest quite a bit to make it seriously profitable. If you're only buying
how much was all that equipment in your basement?
The equipment that I have right now, the Sponduli SP20 and the Antminer, I think together are about $1,200 or $1,300.
And you haven't made that money back yet?
No, not yet. No, to make that money back takes about a year. Well, did take about a year. Now Bitcoin's like dropped down to $215. Yeah, it's probably like Nan.
Real quick, guys, I'm not disinterested in what Jerry's saying. I'm looking at articles over here, and I was trying to find one that I read earlier today, which I thought was really funny, and I'm wondering if they pulled it. It was actually a PC Magazine article. Not to change the subject, if there's anything else you want to say on 3D printing, God, see what I'm used to? Bitcoin before we go on, which I think you'll think this is funny.
I think the thing that I'm gonna end with on Bitcoin is, just like I said in the video, it is a high risk thing. Definitely, if you're gonna get into it, either do it for the hobby space, or if you're doing it to make money, be very, very smart in how you acquire your hardware and how you, and how much make sure your power and where your power is coming from and how much is factored in. But you can still make a profit on Bitcoin. You absolutely can. It's just with shit like this happening, it kind of scares you, I mean,
I'm happy to see that Jay's a dickhole is still trending.
Is it really?
Yeah, I've seen quite a few of them go by. And what's funny is the people who don't know any better are like attacking those people, thinking they're attacking me. It's something Jerry started once because I started the stream without him one day.
Yeah, hashtag Jay's a dickhole is actually like the same as hashtag I love Jay. Basically.
Pretty much. So all the people who do legitimately hate me are like, I'm going to jump on this dickhole thing. Now you love me. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just like poor people. I still get people every once in a while that come out of the woodwork and they're like, whoa, that's very offensive to poor people. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay, well, you must be new here.
At the rate you're gaining subs, there's a lot of those people.
Dude, as soon as I say Lamborghinis are for poor people, you should get the joke. I shouldn't even have to explain it beyond that.
Did you see the Instagram I did of the McLaren where I was like, hey, look, I got my 200K subscriber gift, right? Screwing around. You know how many people
actually? I'm gonna go look that up right now.
Do you know how many people like legitimately thought that I somehow ended up with a freaking McLaren?
Same thing happened to Linus. He posted a picture of him in front of the new BMW i8, and he's like, "Hey, check out my new ride, guys!" And everybody was just flaming the hell out of him, like, "Oh yeah, you say you can't afford nice things. Look, you got this big car." I'm like,
I know. It's like, what is wrong with people? Anyway, the article I was looking for, which I cannot find, and maybe someone will find it and link us to it, was PC Magazine put out an article like begging people to stop using the term PC Master Race. I was like, F that, hashtag PC Master Race. No, they actually went into the history of PC Master Race and how it started 7 years ago on a Facebook post. Kind of like the "Do you even lift bra" thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. So and it's stuck. And no, I think it's good. We have our Master Race and we have our console peasants. It doesn't mean you're a peasant. It doesn't mean I'm your master. It's kind of like, I don't know, a pride thing. Pride is a seven deadly sin.
No, this actually leads into another topic that I want to talk about, and that is people are getting way too sensitive. And I'm not talking like just globally. I'm not even talking just here in the United States where we live. It seems like every day now I see something in the news about celebrities being forced to apologize for saying stuff about other celebrities. Every single person's getting butthurt over everything. You got the whole Gamergate thing going on, which honestly is a very, very bad thing. But you have people that are coming out and they're exploiting all these things just because they want like they want to be noticed, or they want to have their like 5 seconds of fame, or they want to like influence something. And that's really starting to piss me off. Like the people that come out and it's like they're trying to get offended. Like they're completely ignoring the joke. They're completely ignoring everything else. And even though it's obvious what the context is, they're not interested. They just want to try to exploit it and make it look as bad as possible.
What's funny is the amount of people who will try and make me out to be some sort of an asshole because I won't apologize that my point of view offends somebody sometimes. I'm not going to apologize.
You are kind of an asshole, though.
That's true. I'm a dickhole, but I'm not going to apologize for it.
Yeah, no, and nor should you have to. And that's that's the part that's really, really bugging me is I look in the news like every day and it's like, what was it? Like Charlie Sheen had to apologize to Kim Kardashian because he said her ass was like fat and jiggly because she did something like really, really mean to a little girl. And I'm like reading that and it's like every single celebrity, because if they don't, they basically just get mobbed by some group. Some group just goes after them and like tries to destroy their career because they like had an opinion on something or made a joke. And I'm like, oh my god!
It's funny how the it's funny how the offended always become triumphant over freedom of speech.
Yep.
I mean, freedom of speech is. I mean, granted, every country has their own Bill of Rights or their constitutions or whatever. But freedom of speech is a civil right, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but I'll say things that offend people all the time, not on purpose. But I'm not going to apologize for it.
Well, I had somebody like the other day on Instagram. I said, hey, look, I'm cleaning out my own gutters, and I put hashtag poor people work. And somebody replied back, and they're like, whoa, Jerry, that's taking it too far. Like there's people that really do clean gutters. Well, obviously, I'm one of them. I'm on a ladder right now cleaning my gutters out.
And the person cleaning the gutters is doing better than the guy sitting on the side of the highway.
So I liked my response to him. My response to him is, I am offended by people that are easily offended.
Yeah.
You know, that's my new saying going forward. If you're so easily offended that something that I said obviously in a joking context is offensive to you, then I'm offended by that.
Right.
Which means you're probably going to get banned.
Let's see. CEO of Origin PC, Ken Wozleski. I can never say his name. I got to hang out with him at CES, actually. Cool guy. He's talking about how the Steam machine is no longer much of anything.
Yeah, it kind of died out. I noticed that. What's up with that?
Because of stuff like the Doko.
Yeah, but this is kind of a strange thing because I'm going to go on the record and say I'm sad about this, guys, because I had a lot of God, my brain is like seizing up under all this medication. I really wanted the Steam box to be a success. I really did. Because for one, it pokes Microsoft in the eye, and I like doing that these days. And then number two, the fact that you could create a low-cost PC that's accessible to everybody, that plugs into your existing peripherals like your television and stuff like that. I think that there would have been a fantastic
Jerry,
market for that.
But Jerry, with things like the Vapor, right? I did at CES. I talked about the Vapor, right? Here's one right here. Small console PC, $499. You've got the Doko, $100 if you already own a PC. You got things like the Gigabyte Bricks with a full-on Broadwell.
I get it. Everything moved in and just flattened the market.
So these things minus the Doko, because it's not actually a computer, can do everything a Steam box could, and everything else a PC can. So a Steam box limits itself to a one-trick pony. I think that's where the point of this is coming from.
No, and I agree with that. But the thing is I like the idea of Steam OS being a singular front end targeted at the 10-foot experience gaming in your living room. Like I like that. It was basically like tantamount to Media Center in Windows, but it was geared towards gaming. Yeah. And I saw a lot of potential there, but the problem was for some reason it just slowed to a dead crawl. Like I remember when like Steam OS builds were coming out like crazy and everything was moving really fast and everybody was talking about it, and then it just kind of like died off. And I remember a couple companies shipped production Steam machines with software that was still heavily beta. Like it wasn't the final product. And it's like, I think ultimately, like you said, that coupled with people coming out with better products that are cheaper or, even in the same price department.
I think what the bottom line comes down to is Steam and Valve talked about it for so long.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get their shit together for so long, it made plenty of an opening for everyone else to swoop in with a small PC idea.
Exactly. I mean, the hype was there. Like
3
people
years.
wanted it. Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but 3 years is too long to hype something, even if you're Gaben.
You know who's another example of that is goddamn Oculus. Comes out with the best product in the universe. And I've used guys, I haven't even used the DK2 yet. I'm talking just the DK1. You put that thing on and you're like, holy shit, this is the future. Nothing else touches it. And it's like they still haven't come to the market with an off-the-shelf retail unit. Now you have Sony creating one. Razer is creating one. There's at least a dozen companies that I don't remember the names of that are all creating these, complete peripheral vision, encompassing head tracking devices. And Oculus is going to lose.
Yeah,
they're going to lose.
Okay, so I had
against Sony and shit like that. They played their hand too early. They did.
I had an entire segment of a video about OSVR from Razer because I demoed it. I got to use it. I got the whole PR press tour. I got to cut in line. That was kind of nice. I had to wait in that big old line.
You sure everybody didn't just get scared and run away?
Dude, I got such dirty looks. But anyway, that's okay. I worked for it. The OSVR. The only thing cool about it, in my opinion, is the fact that it's open source. But it's not there. Oculus is obviously so far ahead. Like the hand tracking on it was like really funky. You had to keep holding your hands like up above your face because the camera wasn't recognizing your hands, and you had to do it like with your palms facing you. Even though you're supposed to be like shooting these fireballs, normally you would think your palm would be pointing where you're shooting, but you keep your palms facing towards the camera because tracking wasn't working very good. They had to keep resetting the software like every other use. Obviously it was open source. It's very new. I like the idea of the open source, especially since they said you could take their open source SDK and run it on an Oculus. So you could take the superior hardware and write software on an Oculus if you hack it, I guess. But
the thing is, we're gonna start seeing a big jump in open source software moving into the future, because everything in the 3D printing space, the machines that are popular are the ones that are all supporting open source and cross-platform.
Right.
Same thing with these visual things. Open source basically allows companies to do things with this hardware and this device that the company themselves never would have done.
Right.
And I think that's important. But the OSVR, you can definitely tell it got some of its cues from the Rift. I'm looking at a picture of one right now. The damn thing looks like a clone.
Right.
But the thing is, you're right. Oculus is still ahead of the game, and luckily Facebook bought them, which means they pretty much have a bottomless well of money and resources. But they better figure it out quick, because when you got companies like Sony and you got companies, like Razer looking into the space, it's not going to take them long enough to get parity and surpass what Oculus is doing, just because of their sheer access to resources.
And not to mention Razer. Yeah, I was going to say, you just hit on that. Razer's got one hell of a bankroll right now.
Oh yeah, no, Razer. This is the funny thing about Razer is it's like I'm on the fence about Razer because I've owned 3 Razer mice and all of them the fucking sensors broke, like every one of them.
Yeah.
And I've had, but then you hear about the people that have had Razer mice for like 10 years and they're still using it like it's brand new.
Well,
so
like
I think I might have
Death
just had
Adder.
a really bad experience.
The optic on my Death Adder was perfect. What stopped working for me was the scroll wheel, and I use the scroll wheel like crazy. So that's why I'm excited to start looking at some Razer products since I got to finally get in touch with them. So I haven't used one since 2012. So we'll see if the last 3 years with their increased, apparently their increased quality. We'll see. So apparently Japan's console market is down lowest that it's been in 24 years. Apparently they sold less consoles in the last year than they did in 1990 when the SNES came out.
So I never would have expected that.
1990 was their highest sales console year, and it's been a decline since then.
Does this include handhelds too, or is this just television consoles?
What's funny, there's another article talking about Japan's tablet users up to 1 billion. It's like there's not even a billion people in Japan.
Yeah, I think the console sales are actually starting to decline because you have people that are doing more I think PC gaming is becoming popular again. I think it's getting its second wind.
I don't even get that. How there can be... Okay, see, Japan's console market down lowest in 24 years. Never mind. That was a global tablet users to exceed 1 billion. I think Japan is more on that cutting edge of the tablet use as well as probably PC use.
Oh, it's like I have friends in Japan and in South Korea, and they said that their phones there are like our phones here. We have 4G LTE. In like South Korea, they have like internet. Their internet's like basically half a gigabit to their freaking phone. You can get crazy bandwidth over there. And their phones also are their wallets. We have Apple Pay over here. It's like they've had something comparable to that for like 10 years.
Dude,
Everybody uses their phones for everything. It's like they even have phones over there because they have phones over there that we don't even get here in the United States. And so when I was working at Microsoft, one of the guys that I know who lived in South Korea went back, saw his family. They bought him a phone, and the phone had, at the time, now granted, remember this is like 8 years ago, it had an 8 or a 10 megapixel camera in it. And I mean, it was like a giant camera sitting off the side of the phone. It made the phone look like a camcorder. And the phone also had a video out dongle that you could plug into it and a USB thing so you could hook a keyboard to it and plug it into a monitor and use it as a standalone like laptop workstation. And it was running all proprietary software. It wasn't running Android. It was like some proprietary freaking operating system.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. And like none of the features worked over here because we didn't have the network infrastructure for it. So they're so far ahead of us in the mobile scene. It's like it'll be a long time before we catch up.
Well, Japan's always going to be ahead.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what Robert Morris University, and I'm sure someone in the chat already knows where this is going. Damn it, where'd it go? Robert Morris University and the University of Pikeville in Kentucky have in common?
They're both universities nobody wants to go to.
They're both universities now offering League of Legends scholarships.
What?
This is on Forbes. This is on Forbes magazine. Paul Tassi wrote an article talking about Robert Morris was the first university to actually offer a League of Legends pro gamer a scholarship, and now Pikeville University in Kentucky is following suit.
That is so funny because all I can picture is the conversation you're having with your parents when you're selecting a college. You're like, so son, where do you want to go to college? Oh, I want to go to this college over here. Oh, what are they doing? Oh, you always said that gaming would amount to nothing, and I can actually get a scholarship in this game. It's like, oh my God. Like, how would you even put that on your resume? Like, people wouldn't think that was real without looking it up.
Do you think they're going to be Ivy League scholarships?
Oh, I see what you did there.
It was a stretch, but hey, oh man,
I just would love to put that on my resume.
But you can get kicked out of school for any other scholarship, music scholarship, math scholarship, academic scholarship, sports, or whatever. You can get kicked out of school for not performing good enough. So you're gonna get kicked out of school because you didn't place high enough in League of Legends at MLG.
You did not curse at those 12-year-olds as many times as you had to. Fail.
Yeah. How do you judge that?
But it kind of makes me wonder though, like
you didn't show up to practice.
Play devil's advocate to myself here a little bit. Let's look at the positive points here. I mean, does that mean that League of Legends is such a technical and strategical game that it's like on, it's on par with like chess, like actually learning and becoming an expert at that might actually mean that you have some crazy, otherwise unenvisioned skills in the gaming space? I mean, I don't know. It's weird. It's like, what would you do with that?
I guess it's technically a team sport though, right?
It is. I mean, it is. Well, I guess that's the thing too. Is I guess if you look at it that way, I mean, it's like people play, college football and stuff like that. So it is a nerd sport.
I couldn't believe it though. It doesn't say on here how big the scholarship. I mean, they could be like $1,000 scholarships for all we know, right? But
it's like $50, $50 a 2-day class.
It won't even pay for a semester worth of books. But yeah, it's. Man, I haven't read the tech headlines in a while, and this is kind of scary here.
Oh, Pac Mancy just said he hasn't seen anybody in South Korea use their phone to pay for stuff. So I might be completely screwing it up. It might just be like maybe is it China that does that? I feel horrible. I guess I don't know all my Asian countries very well.
Maybe Japan, but I couldn't really.
Well, I know what to do in Japan. Japan, you can actually walk up to the vending machines, like the vending machines you can pay for with your cell phone.
Yeah.
And that was long before Apple Pay. That was like even back when they had like Motorola flip phones and stuff. They had RFID chips in them that you could pay for stuff with. But there was one country that a guy from work, he brought his phone, and it was like the phone just had crazy amounts of stuff in it. It was basically like an SLR camera phone with a chip in it for paying for stuff, and you could hook it up to a monitor and mouse. And I was like, why don't we have that over here? Like,
there's a headline here of IT workers of the world unite. I didn't get the memo.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Anyway,
well, I'm not an IT worker anymore, right?
Speaking of IT and software, there's a game that Little Jay got for Christmas that it's called Robot Turtles. You ever heard of it?
Is that the game where you they give you commands and you move the things around?
Yeah, basically it's scripting.
Yep, I've got that. I haven't taken it out of the box yet, but Xander's got that too. Yeah.
We had a lot of fun on it last night. We had a lot of fun. So here's how it works. You have the turtle masters, which are basically the kids, right?
Yep.
And then you have the turtle mover, which is usually an adult. You're the one. You're the program. So when they make their turn, you're the program. They have to execute, right? They even have a bug button they can hit to do a do over if their command didn't work, and it's fun. There's different obstacles that you can get through based on like laser cards, or there's even frog functions in there, dude. You can set up a series of cards to execute as a function, which is pretty awesome. So anyway, there's different tiers of the game. And there's a mode on there where, okay, they can play one turn at a time, and as the turtle mover, you have to rotate the turtle based on the cards played. And like rotating would be a turn, right? Move straight is a turn.
And when we're talking about turtle, we're talking about like just for people that are listening, we're talking about like, remember the old turtle game on, what was it, the Apple IIe and stuff like that? You're basically just making a script that moves a piece. Yeah, you move a piece around a grid, right?
Right. So it's
called the cursor's called the turtle for some reason.
It's the exact same thing, but it's a board game.
That is awesome.
And the little tiles that you move. So anyway, but the coolest thing was the frog function was actually pretty awesome. So you could set up, 4 or 5 cards to operate in succession. If you play the frog function card, it then plays all 4 of those moves. So Little Jay actually picked up really, really quick on how this works. And I was concerned because you're supposed to do unlockables, which means that there's different functions you can unlock. So it starts out very, very simple, left, right, straight. Get your frog or get your turtle from starting point to a jewel, right?
Okay.
And everybody wins. There's no winner. Everyone has to get their turtles to the jewel. So everyone helps each other if you're first. And you just help the next person. And cool. So then you do unlockables, which are obstacles that you have to go around. There's movable obstacles, obstacles you can alter or change, right? She blew through that mode. And there's even there was a mode where it's like, okay, you look at the board, and you have to lay down your cards in the order you think it's going to take to get your turtle to the jewel. Rather than one turn at a time, you write the program. And then you have to yell, execute program. And then the turtle mover has to make silly sounds as you're moving the turtle and execute the program. If there's a failure, you go back to the beginning, they modify their code, and off they go. So the point is to get the turtle from A to B all in one clean succession. So basically you're teaching kids scripting. It's freaking amazing. And Little Jay, and by game number 3, was able to get her turtle entirely across the board around obstacles, all in one clean succession by just laying down cards in the order she thought it took to get through the grid.
It actually sounds very similar to like Lego Mindstorm. Have you ever done Lego Mindstorm before?
No.
The way you program it is you literally pull out visual tiles, lay them down, and then connect them with pathways. So it's basically tile 1 executes, then tile 2. And then you can have like an if condition, and then that'll branch off into 2 other conditionals. Right. And it basically it's all driven by these blocks with data points.
Right.
And so it allows kids to program robots without having to like know C-style syntax and stuff like that.
Right. And the if condition in this game is called frog function. And then a frog function, which is executed, then executes a series of titles that you've already played. Like, for instance, to get around an immovable object, right, you would have, in this game, let's say you would have rotate left, move straight 1, rotate right, move straight 2, rotate right, move 1, rotate left, right? Yep. That would get you around it in a C shape. So you could have a frog function set up on the side and then put the frog card into play. So when you get to that portion, it then pulls up an if command, pulls the function, goes around the obstacle. Little Jay was able to do it by game number 3. So
well, you've got yourself a pretty gifted kiddo there.
I have a
couple days with her. She definitely knows what's going on.
I have a feeling this little girl might have a pretty bright future. Not just, I mean, you've seen her build a computer, but we've never touched on programming ever. So granted, this isn't programming, it's teaching the fundamentals of the way to think as a programmer. Yeah. I'm excited for her because I do programming, but I'm very, very, very basic. I'm a super junior programmer. I'm more into the hardware and networking side. Yep. So if she ends up getting the brains on the software and it clicks for her, man, she's got a future.
No, I think she definitely does.
She just can't work for Microsoft.
No. Well, they wouldn't hire her anyway. She's too smart.
You're a girl. Nope. Yeah. So anyway, if any of you guys out there have kids that are into like Little Jay, the stuff she's into, go to Target or Walmart, pick up the game Robot Turtles. It's like $20, and it's actually a ton of fun. I enjoyed it.
Well,
and
I'm definitely gonna take it out and play with Xander now because I just haven't had the time lately, and he's been wanting to play Forza, but I definitely want to play more games with him where he learns something. Because he's one of those kids where it's like when he gets it right, it really, really resonates to him. Like, I mean, he gets so proud of himself when he accomplishes something. So
Challenge Me Thesis says every parent thinks their kid's special, and then they turn out to become a stripper prostitute. I hope that's not the case.
Or a drug dealer or a murderer.
No, but what I like about Robot Turtles though is the game is always different because the turtle mover sets up the board, and they have in the instructions, they have a whole bunch of different suggested layouts based on difficulty level. And you can come up with a completely custom layout if you want. So I was trying to trick her and throw her off on certain things, and no, she got around every obstacle. I think she found a bug once. Basically, if the code doesn't work right, it's bug. So I think she found one bug the entire night, which was pretty awesome.
That's cool. That was really cool.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, once again, that's Robot Turtles. It's at like Target, Walmart, Amazon. It's cheap, and if you guys have kids that like board games and you actually want them to use their brain, not like Chutes and Ladders or Hi-Ho Cheerio or some crap like that, check out Robot
he plays
Turtles.
Hi-Ho Cheerio. That's like one of his favorite games.
Yeah, but that one's all based on spin luck.
Xander's a very random kid.
Just like his dad.
Hey, as long as he spins the dial and the shiny moves, he's happy.
Let's see. This is not an Oculus killer. What is this? Oh my god! I saw that at CES. Oh my god! I saw that. It's another VR thing, but it's called 3D Head.
I haven't heard of that one yet. Here, let me go look it up.
It's I'll put it on the screen here. You'll be able to see it in a second here. Yeah, it's kind of like they came up with the biggest, heaviest, worst way to implement VR ever.
3D Head. Oh my god, this reminds me of like the 80s style VR.
I actually saw that at CES. We were walking by, and I told Frank, my cameraman, I was like, dude, look at that. It's like they said, F it, we're going with big, bad, and bulky.
We're gonna stick a dumpster on your head. Your neck must prove your neck can support 45 pounds before you can use it.
Oh man.
No, it seriously looks like remember like the VR, like if you go to Disney World and go to like the arcade, they have like the little VR pod things where you put
built in like
and
82.
It's like hanging from the ceiling because it would be too heavy for you to like actually support it with your head.
all of the comments.
Oh
Look at the comments as that picture came up.
Yeah, this looks like they took the VR thing from the 90s and just upgraded some components in it. Like
the title of the article on Engadget was "This is not the Oculus killer."
Yeah, definitely.
There's actually little people in there, actually, like recreating, a game. It's not really VR of any sort.
Nice. I like their controller though, boy. That's pretty boss. The thumbsticks look like they're straight out of like a Nintendo 64. They've got those super long little sticks. Oh my gosh.
Monster Sue's Beats, really? I don't even care about that.
I still got to box up the Beats by Jerry and send them over to Logan.
What are you waiting for, man?
I just a lot of stuff hasn't been going my way this week, so just waiting for the back to heal up. I was supposed to go to the post office and ship out all the mustaches today from Movember that still haven't gone out, but because my back's so screwed up, I couldn't drive a car. Obviously, this medicated.
The net killer. Comcast has made a public statement. Are you ready for this?
Oh, Comcast. All right, let's see what they have to say.
Comcast has said, "Customer service will be our best product."
Okay.
I think
their ambitions are greater than their reach.
Never mind the products they sell. We're going to sell you something that's shitty, but then we're going to make you feel good about it afterwards because customer service, that's what we're all about.
Nice.
Are Let's Play videos legal? Oh, goodness. I'm sure. There's an article in here that's entitled Are Let's Play Vehicle or start over. Are Let's Play videos legal? People who do Let's Plays on YouTube. Oh,
right. Well, I know Microsoft released their official stance on monetizing Let's Play videos.
Mm-hmm.
And they did have some clauses in there that specifically said if you used YouTube and used YouTube's advertisement system, that was acceptable. And if you used Twitch and used Twitch's donation system, that's acceptable. But pretty much everything else is off limits and don't do it. And I was like, so like as far as like running your own ads on your videos and stuff like that, it sounds like they really want to kill all that down. Dude, and I don't understand why, because it's like Let's Play, the whole idea is you are like getting people interested in something they may not otherwise get interested in. You'd think that'd be win-win for the company.
Right. Well, yeah, it's like free publicity, but I don't know. I guess the only thing they care about is if you're making money off the lease, right? Because let's face it, a lot of people don't. A lot of people think they have a right to do whatever they want with the game, but you don't. You lease the game. You're purchasing a lease, a right to use. You don't own that game.
That's true. You might own the physical media, but the code on there and everything. I mean, you're buying the rights to use it, not to manipulate it or change it
or make money on it.
Which is sad because I like making money on things.
Well, it's the same reason why you can't say buy a DVD of a movie, set up a projector in the park, and charge people admission to watch it, right? You can't do that.
Oh, damn.
Oh, sorry.
Dude, I didn't know.
There goes that business venture for you. So there's two AMD articles in succession here. AMD announces first shipping FreeSync enabled displays at CES. I already covered that, like the 34UM67 from LG. And then under that, AMD announces 3 executives to leave the company.
That's not sending a very strong message that their decisions are very good.
Yeah, AMD just like Microsoft has been going under a pretty big shakeup right now.
Yeah,
things are pretty shaky.
You know what? Just for Paul, I'm going to do Paul a favor, and I'm not going to say anything bad about AMD until they get back on their feet.
Well, I will. So anyway, no.
Let him have it, Jay. Let him have it.
No, I'm just kidding. FreeSync. There's a lot of conversation right now. If FreeSync goes mainstream, then G-Sync is dead, and that's true. Just like if DX12 actually has API improvement, like Mantle is dead. It goes both ways. I would love to see a DX12 API implementation similar to Mantle to give you better CPU overhead across all platforms. Screw Mantle. If Mantle only works on AMD and AMD specific cards of a certain
remember
range.
What I was telling you about Mantle though is that Mantle was really awesome and everything, but again, I don't think they moved fast enough. And when DX12 drops, it's just going to probably have all the same shit Mantle does.
And the moment that happens, then Mantle is dead.
Yeah, and that's another reason why Mantle. I don't want to say they played their card early, but they should have made it to where it worked with everything. They should have made it on par with DirectX, and they should have made it completely cross-platform. They should have even made Mantle. They take over OpenGL on Mac.
And they might have wanted to do a little less than 15 beta driver versions too.
Yeah.
True. Well, they finally had their main code, their main Mantle non-beta driver drop, and I tried it with 3 different GPU cards that I have in the office here, and all 3 of them had less performance on their non-beta drivers. Like I lost FPS across the board. But of course, when I publicly said that, I was like, and I didn't do it like, oh my god, this is crap, AMD sucks. Yeah. No, I basically said, hey, has anyone else noticed with their official drivers that their FPS dropped? And do you know how many people and I love the AMD community, I really do. The fact that those guys stick together, it's like Raider Nation, right? Your team
They're
sucks.
A tight-knit community. That's why
it's like the Raider.
They're passionate.
It's like Raider Nation. Their team sucks, but god damn it, they love the Raiders, right? Now, everyone's going to say Jay says AMD sucks. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying here is all the people who chimed in like, yeah, but look at the minimum FPS. It's like, I get that. I get it. Minimum FPS may have improved, but I don't want the overall FPS to have dropped, which is what happened.
What doesn't make sense to me there, though, is generally when you come out of beta, you basically build a free build, which means you disable all the debug code. And generally, that gives you a huge performance boost. I find it weird that their beta drivers are outperforming their release drivers, unless they literally had to put in shitloads of more stuff instead of taking it out. In which case, I wouldn't call that a release. I'd call that another beta.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Across the board, my average FPS went down. Yeah, minimum FPS. I get it. That's the game that AMD's playing right now. Minimum FPS improvements. I understand. But I also do my benchmarking based on average FPS. So when my average FPS went down about 10% across the board, that was a problem. So I did the usual, driver sweeper, swept all the drivers, started from scratch, and I noticed the same thing on my 290X, 290, 285, 270X, 270, and 250. So it was like, well, okay, I guess.
Brian Angel just said, "Oh, shut up! Without your Intel peasants, you'd be stuck with Celerons."
I don't get it.
I think he's saying that AMD actually pushed Intel to make better shit. Like
there was with the K6, man. The K6 was phenomenal.
Dude, I remember the K5s used to catch fire. Like when I worked at get computers in all the time, we'd take the heatsink off and the whole top metal plate would be warped and brown.
Like immediately, the moment you take it off and fire it up, it's like pop, smoke, lock up.
Let me ask you if this has ever happened to you. Have you ever, and this is like on legacy AMD, right? This is the old stuff. Did you ever take off a heatsink and actually have the metal heat exchanger on the top of the CPU stay stuck to the heatsink?
No, I've never had the because remember, guys, on legacy AMD, it was a tiny little heat spreader, only the size of the die. It didn't cover the entire chip like now, so you had a green PCB that was exposed. No, Jerry, I've never had it actually fuse itself to the heat sink.
we had them get so burnt, they'd heat up so bad and burn that they'd like turn to thermal paste to like epoxy, and you'd go to pop the thing off the top, and it would just rip the whole thing off the die, and you'd be like,
I don't know. I get asked every day, Jay, when's the next FX CPU coming out on AM4 or whatever? People are just guessing it's going to be. It's like, sorry guys, no, it's not coming. Don't. It's not coming. Sorry. APU is their focus. 6-core APUs, I think, are the next thing we're going to see. AMD, I think, personally would love to see APUs be the future. Granted, they put all their baskets in, or all their eggs in the baskets of Xbox and PlayStation, but yes, I remember the days when AMD, this wasn't that long ago. This is like 2005, 2004, yep. When AMD's K6, like the 5000 plus, the 5001 plus, were dominating Intel. Intel Pentium 4 was just like, could not keep up. Then Phenom happened, and then the decline. And it's been a decline for AMD in terms of the rat race ever since.
Yeah, well, I know back in the P4 days, because I've always had Intel with the exception of one system. And when I had my Pentium 4, I remember a lot of my friends were running on the AMD stuff. It was a lot faster at the time for a lot less money.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. The benefit you get out of AMD right now because of their current model is you stay more current for a lot longer because they're not coming out with annual updates. Whereas, Intel every year, it's like we have 1150 socket, we have 1156, we have 1152 or 1151, whatever. With 2011, 2011-3. So every single year, you're like, yay, if I want to get something new, chances are I have to upgrade my motherboard. But guys, if AMD comes out with something new FX-based, you're more than likely going to also have to upgrade your motherboard. Sorry, but 5 years on a socket is a little bit long as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, the other thing that was weird is AMD, I remember they were really coming out swinging with the multi-core processors too. Like, I remember, what was it, the Sledgehammer that dropped that was like one of the first consumer-grade physical 8-core processors in existence?
That was server grade.
Was that considered a server grade, the Sledgehammer?
I thought it was, because I thought their mainstream was the first multi-core. Now, okay, I guess you have to be technical because AMD considers themselves as having the first multi-core processor because of a technicality, yet Intel had the Pentium D, which came out before the Phenom. Right. So I don't remember exactly the stipulation there, but I remember the Phenom kind of started the mainstream multi-core race, but it didn't perform as expected.
Yeah, because I remember the Sledgehammer processor. I think it was like very comparable in price to the Intel Pentium 4 at the time, but it had way. I mean, it was way faster overall, like from a benchmarking perspective.
Right.
And I don't remember ever being. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay, never mind. It was in the Opteron set, so no, it was one of their server processors. But their server stuff was way cheaper than Intel. Like Intel server stuff was ridiculously priced. The only thing you could build an AMD server for like nothing.
The only thing I'm a fanboy of right now, honestly, is high performance. So if AMD came out with something that literally rivaled the 5960X, of course I would go with AMD. I'll go with whoever's in front. I have no loyalty to either company, but AMD just has, I don't know. There's so much going on. Like, for a couple of years there, they posted straight losses in the tens of millions every quarter, and it was not looking good. I don't know. They had a huge jump with PS4 and PlayStation 1 utilizing their APUs, yet now they're losing executives, a brand new CEO who's kind of doing the Sasha aspect of now we're just going to shake the company around and see what falls out. I don't know. But I do know they brought the original K6 engineer back. I don't remember his name, but they brought the original K6 engineer back. To revamp their desktop CPU lines and make them exciting again. And he's the one who cut FX, guys. He's the one who said FX has got to die. And that's why you're not going to see another FX processor. I'm sorry. If you wanted to see a successor to the 8350, and I don't mean the 9570 or 9590 or whatever the hell it's called. I can't remember the way they do their numbers. I'm talking about a true new architecture from FX. You're not going to see that. You will not see.
Has AMD been pretty tight-lipped about the next generation coming out?
Absolutely.
That's good. They should, because that's like the biggest mistake everybody's making right now, like we've been talking about.
You know why? Do you know why they're tight-lipped about the new thing coming out?
Because they don't want Intel to preempt them.
Because there's no new thing coming out. That's the reality of this.
You really think AMD's just sitting on their hands right now?
This isn't a think. This is a no. And I can't say how I know, but this is a no. AMD is not coming out with anything new right now because Kaveri is their focus. Kaveri is based on the same architecture as FX. FX came over to the APU in the FM2 Plus line. FX AM3, AM3 Plus is dead. It's not going anywhere. That's why their focus is APUs, getting the most performance you can out of APU, entry-level gaming, mid-range gaming, because how many people are going to go out and buy a 5960X versus can afford a $178 Kaveri that could play Battlefield at 45 FPS on Ultra? Who's going to pay $1,000 for a CPU when you can buy an APU that can actually game. So you start bumping up those cores and the number of GPU cores, and you focus on that technology. I think that's where AMD is putting their money in the future.
Yeah, and the truth is it's actually a good decision because the majority of people buying hardware and stuff, I mean, when you look at just the gross majority of people spending money, it's going to be in that midsection. It's not going to be in the super high end.
Right.
You know, so the super high end's awesome. It paves the way for the future. It creates the technology that eventually comes down in price and gets more refined and becomes the next generation middleman. But yeah, no, it's the mid grades. I think the APU stuff has a powerful offering for, you know, dollar per FPS ratio. And that's why it's too bad that Steambox is kind of, the whole Steambox concept is kind of dying out, because the APUs seem like they were perfectly suited to that job.
Yeah. Well, AMD has an amazing price to performance ratio on the GPUs ever since the price drop, as well as the Kaveri. Now, I think Kaveri is a amazing entry level to mid range PC. The system we built for Little J, even with her 250 in it, you can do 1080p gaming at medium to high FPS with no problems whatsoever. Intel, I don't know. I think there's such a divide and such a gap between both brands right now. I think that's why people are confused. Because I think people are afraid if they buy, like, say, an 8350 right now, considering it really is 3 years old on architecture. I think people are afraid that they're going to get outdated much sooner. So there's that initial investment fear. So they'll just be like, okay, I'm going to buy Intel because it's newer. But I don't know. I mean, if there's nothing that's going to replace your CPU in the near future, then you're not really going to be outdated, are you?
Yeah, well, it's like me right now. I'm still running on my old Ivy Bridge 3930K, and even by today's standards, it's still a very fast processor.
Yeah, if you just cleaned out the crystallized fluid inside
the
of your
crystallized fluid, maybe swapped out the heatsink compound that's most definitely concrete right now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But no, and that's the funny thing is, like, the new Xeon system that I'm building. You know, it's like it's generation newer DRAM. You know, it's the new chipset. I believe it's Haswell, isn't it? Isn't the Haswell
this Brian guy in chat thinks I don't know about Zen. I got entirely debriefed on Zen. I'm very well of what I'm talking about. The FX AM3 Plus line is dead. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, careful going toe to toe with Jay on the whole processor and GPU knowledge thing. He's kind of he sits on the toilet every morning while he's taking his dump and just, like, reads everything there is to know about everything in that space.
On my 4.5-inch screen.
Yep, I don't even. That's what she said. No,
no. The motherboards for AMD on that enthusiast line have to upgrade. I would love to see AMD ditch the Northbridge. I mean, I think
and just integrate it into the processor.
Yeah, just like Intel did, because then you're going to get overall faster speeds. You're going to get just a better architecture all around. That Northbridge is a lot of the limitations right now on AM3. Yeah. That's why PCIe or Gen 3 doesn't exist on there. That's why a lot of the stuff that is now being put onto the motherboards, these manufacturers are having to figure out how to integrate it with their own, chipsets to make a lot of this function work.
Yeah. Plus, we've kind of hit the ceiling on, how far you can go with clock cycles. So now you have to, like, start branching out into the multi-core and more efficient ways to do processing at those speeds, because I mean, we're not seeing 5 and 6 and 7 gigahertz processors. Now, granted, with liquid nitrogen, you can get to some of those speeds, but we're not going to see those. I mean, in any additional refinements, I mean, we were pretty much hitting the barrier of what you can do with silica and copper.
Yeah.
So it's either a new material comes out in the future that allows us to move past that barrier, or we just keep building more and more processors at that same speed. I'm just curious how long it's going to be before we see Intel and AMD coming out with, like, the 16 true core, 32 true core processors.
You know what I think the overall reality is here? I think AMD is smart enough to know who their customers are. Their customers are, for the most part, not workstation builders. They're not content creators.
Poor people.
And when I say content creators, guys, I'm not talking about, putting up a Twitch stream and calling yourself a content creator, or doing a YouTube video and calling yourself content. I'm talking about people doing professional content, like movie visual effects and things like that, things that actually take power. I think AMD knows that's not their customer base. So why dump a bunch of R&D into something that's not outdated yet? Because you can take your 8350 system and you can live stream, you can play your games, you can get, amazing FPS. In fact, there's a chart up of the 5960X versus the 8350 on the same exact graphics cards that are within like 3% of each other on total FPS. So they know that their customer base are guys like I Am Apropos and I the Greek and all of them who are like doing enthusiast grade gaming. It's not holding them back, really.
Yeah, another really crazy thing that I noticed. I was looking at benchmarks yesterday because I was just curious to see what the performance difference was in some applications for Xeon versus the i7 counterpart. And I was actually shocked that the Xeon processor running at a much lower clock speed was able to achieve way higher performance in a lot of these content creation applications. Not necessarily in games and stuff like that, but in applications that actually took benefit.
Which
I mean, it was huge. I mean, it was like double.
Right, it was you have to clarify though, because that's one of the things I hate about Intel is they call it i7, but you've got i7 entry level grade, like 4300 or whatever that is. Yeah, you've got i7 5960X. Right, there's a huge spectrum there.
Well, to give you an example, I was looking at my 3930K overclocked to 4.6 gigahertz with 6 physical cores versus the Xeon equivalent, but Haswell versus Ivy Bridge. And in Adobe Premiere, it was over 33% faster with the same number of cores.
I believe that. I actually don't know a whole lot about what makes Xeon different than i7, or let's say Haswell. I can't even say that because Xeons are technically Haswell Ethernet right now.
Well, they have a lot more cache on them. I think that's the single biggest thing that the Xeons have.
5960X has 20 megs of cache, and so does 5930K, which is just a 6-core version of the 5960X. They have the same amount. They have the same 20 meg cache.
Well, yeah, but isn't that the Extreme Edition processor?
No, so does the 5930. Oh no, I think 59. Yeah, look it up. 5930 also has 20 megs. The 5820 has 15.
5930. Let's see.
Could be wrong. Maybe it's 15. But I think it's going to be similar.
Yeah,
to like,
it's a 15 meg cache.
I don't know if 5 megs makes that much of a difference. 33%.
Dude, it's a quarter. It's 25%. That's a lot.
But it's going to be probably similar to kind of like the single point or single precision versus double precision in, say, GPUs. There's just an algorithm in there that's more utilized, probably. I don't know. I've never gotten into that.
If they have identical instruction sets, I'd imagine that they would.
Well,
I wondered if there's any additional instructions on.
Well, remember what I told you, the first 5960X engineering sample that was sent to somebody got their hands on. They wanted to see if it had the same thermal compound problem that the other i7s were plagued with.
Yeah.
And when they tried to take off the heat cover and found out it was actually epoxied on, it yanked the top of the die off.
Yeah.
And instead of 8 modules, they found 12. There were 12 modules in the 8-core CPU. So really the first engineering samples of 5960X were 12-core Xeons that were locked.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see how the 5960X 8-core versus the 8-core Xeon does. That'd be a fun test. I can actually get my hands on that CPU. I should do it.
Yeah, and the Xeons I'm going with, I mean, they're going to be the 6-core guys. I can't remember which model was it that they had. Let me go look.
But you're going to have 2 of them, so you're going to have 24... You're going to have a total of 24 logical cores.
Yeah, no, I'm actually pretty excited about that. I'm just going to open Task Manager and just drool.
They should have just given you 2 of the 12 cores. You could have had 48 cores, man.
I know, dude. I know. But aren't those processors like $3,000 a piece or $4,000 a piece?
It's not like you're paying for it.
True story, man. True story. I can't afford this system. I can't wait for the influx of mails, too. Like when I do the review of the system, they're going to be like, oh my God, you spent $10,000 on a computer? I'm going to be like, no.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
This video that you're complaining on was rendered by this PC.
Exactly. I'm going to put that in the description of everything.
You know, I want to say this, though. The Z97 Stinger build I did for CES, which that was all it was used for, and it's already now coming apart. Z97 Mini ITX, i7 4790K with a 980 classified in there. Man, that thing chugged along and coded video like nothing else. That was amazing. I was actually encoding like my CES videos. Geez, they were about 1-to-1. So if it was a 10-minute video, it took 10 minutes to render. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm struggling right now with my system. I mean, and it's a combination of having the older GPUs and my Ivy Bridge. But when I'm in Premiere and I'm trying to edit anything more than like 2 or 3 layers with an effect on it in 1080p, it's like chugging along. You know, I mean, even in the preview mode, I'm getting like maybe 20 frames a second.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, it's not a good experience.
But
so I'm really excited.
But even when I had the 4790K in here before I went to X99, I was able to RAM preview at real time, even with layers.
What GPUs were you running though?
Those were the 780s at the time. But you know the 780s were only being about 5% utilized.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was monitoring
for like the preview rendering.
Even for the preview rendering, I was monitoring them, and they sat at idle temps with only 5% usage, bouncing up and down between 5 and 0 at replay.
Oh, maybe I have some deeper problems than going on.
Have you checked your temps? Maybe your temps are going high. Like the moment I open up Premiere, my CPU jumps up 15 degrees.
Yeah, and I have been having problems with CPU overheating. I've had to
probably
jump
throttling,
my fan
dude.
speed up. Yeah.
Well,
actually, that's a good point. I bet you're right.
Your fan speeds aren't going to help if your thermal paste in your fluid is taking a shit, so they're probably throttling.
Right, probably. Well, the goal is once I get the new computer, I'm going to yank all the guts out of this guy and see if I can get him to fit into a large media center case and stick that in the bedroom.
God, I would be so afraid to see what inside of your case looks like.
Oh my God, dude.
Do I want to know what's going to come out of the radiators when you blow it with air?
Dude, did you see? Well, you saw that. Did you see the Instagrams of me blowing out my media center?
I saw that. That's why I'm afraid of what your main PC looks like.
Dude, I'm surprised the thing didn't catch fire. Like literally, the case was just full of like flammable dust.
Yeah.
I should have stuck a lighter in there and just been like, see what happens.
Timmy D853. Jay, are you drinking the pumpkin pie moonshine? No, it's tea. It's tea. Jay, one whole gen between you and Jerry. That problem. It went away too fast. No, the one generation doesn't matter. His X79, 59. You have a 4960 or 4930. Oh, 3930. That's 2 generations, but still, that's not. That's a kick-ass system though, man. That thing's gonna be balling no matter what you do. It's
still got the triple channel. It's still got the triple channel memory.
You have quad channel.
Is it quad channel in this guy?
You have an X79. That's quad channel.
No, you're right. It is. So yeah, no, it's still a badass system. It is. That's why I'm gonna pump it all into the media center. So I can lay in bed and play games. But then you talk about this like, what?
I love that. When you and I were talking about it on Skype yesterday, I was like, dude, X79 media PC, do it.
That would be cool.
So stupidly overkill.
Well, I hope the thing with Puget Systems is I hope that this is just a gateway system, and that later down the road I can also run some, because they build media center PCs, they build intermediate to high end gaming systems and all that stuff. I'd love to just start replacing all my computers.
I have a question. Awesome. I have a question for you from the chat. Sunlight Veil says, when are you going to release that Robo 3D full enclosure video? Because the Robo 3D forums are waiting patiently.
Oh, yeah. Well, first I got to get the Robo 3D R1 video out, which what had happened was I ran into a couple user error problems and kind of screwed myself. And then I hurt my back and I ran into some problems and I got pushed back. So the video keeps getting delayed. But the next video to come out, well, actually the second video to come out should be out, like, hopefully if my back's feeling better tomorrow. I'm going to say Saturday or Sunday. The R1 video, the unboxing and the first print will be done. And then after that, then I'm going to do the enclosure, and then I'm going to do a couple 3D printed upgrades to it and move my controller over from the last generation Robo to the new generation so that I can actually have, standalone printing. So that's the plan. But I kind of screwed up on a couple things when I got the Robo and I was playing with it originally. I installed the wrong software, and then I got it configured completely wrong, and the damn auto leveling wasn't working, and I was getting frustrated. And after talking to the Robo guys, I figured out what I screwed up and how to fix it and how to go in and put the right software on it. But the good thing about that is I like to learn all these like little mistakes and quirks setting it up, because if I can run into it, somebody else can run into it. So in the video, I'm going to explain all of the little problems that I ran into and how to solve them.
So when you get your new system, I saw people asking about what case. You're using the new are you using the Define?
Yeah, Fractal
XL.
Define R4 with
R4.
the quiet edition mod on it.
Right. So he's actually going from a Case Labs case down to that quiet case. So yeah.
Yep. Well, the thing is too is I thought about this, and it's like I do still love building computers and stuff like that when I have the time to do it. But I get so many people that message me and they're like, "What's your computer? How do I buy your computer? Where do I buy your computer?" I mean, it's probably the second most asked question I get in email is, and I would like to be able to just say, "Here's a link. Go to this link, and it will seriously show you all the specs, everything that you want. You can change and tweak anything you want, and you can buy the system."
Yeah.
Just for my audience, I think that would be a better experience.
People
than me going, "Hey, PC parts picker, here's all the parts that I have, and go buy them and put them together, and hopefully you have as good of experience as I did," and they all just work out.
People want me to talk about my camera gear. Jay always looks angry. I'm not angry, guys. I'm tired. I have not gotten a chance to recover from CES because the moment I got home, remember, I still have a newborn. I get woken up many times a night. I still have a day job.
I'm
tired. I'm not
right
mad.
now.
If I was mad, I wouldn't even be online. honestly.
Yeah, no, I'm like almost falling asleep here just because this medicine is just so. Oh God,
I was thinking
all
about
night.
doing an after party, like live streaming maybe some gaming after this,
Yep.
but the comments are annoying me, so I probably won't do it. But anyway, people are asking me to talk about my camera gear. I did pick up a new lens. Let me get this.
Yeah, no, I've been seeing a couple little pokey things over in the comments. Like somebody was talking about like why my only video that I did this week was an unboxing. Well, I didn't think it was my only video this week. Like bad things happen.
Oh, I forgot
I'm not a machine, people. I am a human being
Yes.
with a heart and a soul and a brain.
So I got a bunch of lenses now. I'm really happy with this one. Actually, I just took my focus ring off. Yeah, really. Well, every lens has a different purpose, you know.
No, it's true. I've got lots of lenses too, but I keep being lazy and just use the one.
So I just picked up this first I picked up the Sigma 17 to 50 lens, but the Sigma had like you'll see it on the live stream. You'll see it after, but the focus throw was like that far from macro to infinity. It was like 1 inch, and trying to use a follow focus on that, I do manual focus for everything, was nearly impossible. So I actually returned it for the Canon 17 to 55. It's a EFS, image stabilization, ultrasonic motor, etc., etc. I love this lens. F2.8 all the way through, so I don't have to adjust my ISO constantly as I'm zooming in and out. Your L glass, I believe, doesn't need to do that either, but lower end lenses
No, the L glass still has that same limitation.
Oh, so I thought you were F4 all the way through on yours.
Nope, it's F. Oh wait, no, on this one it might be. Hold on. Let me see.
L glass was always F4 on the entire range.
I think on my 70 to 200 it wasn't. Hold on.
Oh, 70 to 200 probably wouldn't. If you had that focal length with F4 all the way through, it'd be like a $10,000 lens.
Right. So I think that's the only exception. But no, you're right. The one I'm looking at right here, this is F4 all the way through.
Right. So I really like this lens. So what I did was I took my Rokinon Cine lens and actually put it on the T2i on the slider back there, which you could see. So at CES, I realized I needed a much better zoom lens because prime it at a show, that doesn't work.
Right. Yeah.
And the kit lens is good, but not great because of the low light. And that f2.8 is awesome. But I also got a lens that I wanted to grow and adapt with. And as much as I love this 70D, this year I will be buying a C100 Mark II. In fact, Canon is going to be bringing one over to the house here to demo for me so I can actually see how it works in my space. Yeah, apparently you go and talk to Canon at CES and you show them a 200,000 subscriber channel. They'll come to your house to show you equipment. So that'll be kind of fun. But awesome. I really, as a filmmaker, want a C100 Mark II. Yeah, it's not 4K. I get it. I'm going to get, whoa, I know 4K. But still, the low light on that thing, perfect for shows. I have a total Woody for that camera. Just saying.
Somebody just messaged me and said why I'm not going with the Fractal Define R5. That's actually a good question. I need to ask Puget Systems why they're using the R4 over the R5.
You can't use that motherboard in that R5. That's an ITX board or ATX board only.
Gotcha. Thank you.
The R5. The R5 is nice because it has around the motherboard. It actually has a kind of an angled motherboard tray in the back, so the cables can come straight through the grommet and go right into the motherboard rather than having to curve around.
Right.
The R4 has a flat motherboard tray, so you could go all the way up to those super wide motherboards like you're using.
I got you. Yeah. No, and this is definitely a server board, so it's like gargantuous.
So that was one of the only things that I had really kind of to say negative about the R5 was it's ATX only. Yeah.
Oh, sad panda.
Jay, you look Jay-ish. I'm trying. Here.
You're a little JSJ.
Is the Canon C100 Mark II 1080p by 60 FPS? Yeah, it is. Actually, the C100 Mark II is 4K. It actually records RAW at 4K, but it downsamples to 1080p when it encodes. That's how it gets a lot of its sharpness. I asked him if there was going to be maybe a firmware hack or maybe a firmware update to actually grab that 4K, but he said that more than likely not. And I asked him if he thought Magic Lantern might be able to do it. And he went into some programming of camera spec that I didn't understand, explaining why it wouldn't really work very well, but that Magic Lantern will probably try, but it won't work. So if I want 4K, I've got to jump up to like a C500, and we're talking like $15,000. But I'm not that excited about 4K video. I don't know. I mean, I know it's kind of like the thing, and I know dropping $5,500 on a camera body that's 1080p 60 hertz only, it's probably something I should think about. But I
know, and I'm like thinking about getting rid of my 5D Mark III to go get to take a step back and get a GH4 just because it's 4K.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like the C100 because of CES and what I was dealing with the DSLR. The 70D is amazing. I mean, everything you guys see is shot on this camera. DSLR has such limitations though when it comes to video. I mean, it's still a photo camera that is capable of taking pictures or taking video. The C100 is built from the ground up for videography. So
it's badass looking too. Like you go somewhere holding that thing, people are gonna look at you like, whoa, dude.
Well, we downsized this. I had the whole shoulder rig that went with me, but we downsized this thing all the way down to a small Manfrotto monopod for the show. I mean, do you know how terrible it is to carry the whole shoulder rig around on your shoulder in the show floor like that? Not to mention with the counterbalance hanging off the back, people would be bumping into you all the time. You would never get a steady shot.
I agree.
So.
Oh, well, dude, we should probably start wrapping this up because I'm gonna literally fall asleep.
Yep. Well, guys,
like, all I hear is because I'm like, oh.
He says, but at the price range, the C100 A7S is better. I don't know what the A7S is. Maybe I should look into that. Anyway, guys, Jerry and I are going to be doing technically a drunk hangout tomorrow on the Twitch channel. It is going to be, and I should probably actually put this in the description here. You know, I really wish I could get my Twitch channel to match my YouTube name, but that's impossible, apparently. We're going to be doing it over on Twitch TV. And just for the, I mean, we did Drunk Tech Talk almost a year ago.
I know.
Can you believe it was that long ago?
I can't either, dude. Like, time's flying. It's like I didn't have like hardly any gray hair. Now I got like tons of gray hair. It's like, wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
things have changed.
We took some flack for that. There's a lot of people out there that are like, no, alcohol's bad, even though it's in your home and it's none of my business. But yeah, I mean, whatever. We're gonna have some fun tomorrow.
We're over that though. We're to the point now where you understand you can't please everybody.
We're grown up.
First thing you learn when you're a big YouTube channel is there's no single thing that you could do that would make everybody happy. It's absolutely impossible.
Like, apparently, just me being tired is making people mad. So I don't know.
Yeah, well,
whatever.
People are mad at me because I haven't released enough videos this week. But hey, you know, when life gives you lemons, you know, make some lemonade.
But if you guys refresh the stream after we're done here, you'll see the Twitch channel description, or in the description there. You can go there. We're going to do it tomorrow at 7 p.m. California time. That's -8 GMT. You guys will have to do the math, I think. Somewhere. I don't know.
And hit that like button if you guys enjoyed the stream. It helps us out. Keeps us motivated.
Like, even though both of us look anything but motivated right now.
God, well, yeah, it's like you're tired from CES. Me, I'm I'm surprised I'm not sleeping because that's a lot of drugs in me right now. I'm like, I don't even know if anything I said was coherent through this whole show.
When my alarm clock went, I'm sure people noticed you're a little different today. When my alarm clock went off this morning to take little Jay to school, I felt like a ton of bricks was dropped on my head. You know when you're so tired, you just cannot physically move your limbs, like your body is like, nope.
I'm almost there. I'm almost there. And you get the little hot and cold flashes. Like, your skin gets hot, skin gets cold. Yeah, that's happening to me right now. I'm a little
sweaty right now, actually. I'm getting a hot flash. But anyway, so that's why I'm not making any videos until like Monday. I was like, oh my God, I only put out one video this week. I don't care. Screw it. I need to recover. And I've got a newborn out in the living room. I'm gonna go play with and hold and cuddle and hug and eat. So we're gonna go ahead and end this stream. Jerry, anything you want to sign off with?
Love all you guys. Thanks for all the support. Sorry that I'm just so out of it this week. I know I haven't been putting videos out and everything, but don't worry. We're getting back on track next week, and then I'm going to Chicago to go tour the Inventables facility and do some cool stuff there. So there's a lot of cool videos coming. Just need to get there.
Now, I promise there are some videos coming out that you guys are going to want to see this week. I actually have 2 boxes right here that I can't show you, that you guys will be very interested in. So look for that coming up.
Secrets.
Look for that. I don't even want to say what like PC part they are. But
you know they're GPUs. They're GPUs.
Shut up.
I guarantee you they are. You don't even have to guess. Like, they're
GUPs. That's what they are. GUPs.
It's Jay. As if it's in a box and he's excited about it, it's GPUs.
No, the Doko's in a box and I'm happy about it.
The Doku is basically just like a wireless GPU. Oh my God.
Pretty much. All right, rolling the outro.
Roll it.
The outro is going and I don't feel like singing because I'm tired.
And I'm tired too. Outro. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Where's the stop button?
Find that stop.